If I would say hip hip, you would say hooray. Yeah. Where you guys learn that from? Have you guys learned that from your parents? Maybe. I got it from my parents. I was thinking about this, when not that my parents really did it much probably, because they weren't like the chanting, woo-woo kind of people, but it was passed down to my family somehow. And if anytime you heard hip hip, if I said it to the youth group, they would do the exact same thing you guys did. Hooray! They'd be a little more energetic maybe about it, but it is Sunday morning. But if you hip hip, hooray! They'd be just excited, right? Well, how about this? We will rock you. Where do we get that from? That was a song, right? And then they'd use that song as a chant at sporting events, right? Yeah, I've never been to one, but to a sporting event that they did this, but I've heard that it creates a pretty amazing amount of energy, right? These people are behind this chant. They want to rock somebody. I don't know. Maybe they have a little anger issues. I don't know what's going on, but they want to rock somebody, right? What about this one? We are
Penn State.
Penn State. There we go. We got it. We are Penn State. Now I've been to a Penn State game. I think it was with Ben. Was it with you? I don't know if it was. I don't know who else we went with. Anyway, I was at a Penn State game once, and that place goes crazy when somebody goes, "We are!" and the whole place like shakes when they say Penn State, right? It's a battle cry. They're telling them, "Look, you're in our house, and we're going to take care of you," right? There's power behind this chant. Well, this morning I want to look into this psalm. It starts out as a battle cry. It starts out as a chant. My title for the message today is A Foundational Chant. Now we can say some of these other things that are fun to do. We are Penn State. That was great, Mike. I appreciate that. Hip hip hooray. I enjoy all these things. But they're empty at the end of the day. See, as believers, we should have our own battle cry. We should have a chant inside of us that we can stand on because we know it's the foundational basis of what makes us alive and gives us the power to move forward. This that we see this morning should give us way more energy than we would ever expect from those other chants that we said. Because the power is inside of us. We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Calling out what God has put inside of us. The power of who He is and what He's calling out inside of us. We got to call it out. God's calling on us. He calls us by name. He says, "Look, Jimmy, I got a job for you." God, I'm not good enough. No, I've equipped you. I've given you the power to do it. Let's move forward and do it. I'm going to do it. I just need you. Actually, He wants us. Isn't that a great thing? God doesn't really need us. He wants us. He wants us to be part of it. Because it's that aspect of worshiping Him. It's that aspect of coming back and being thankful for what He's done for us. So let's turn to Psalm 118. If you didn't get there yet, I'll give you a second. And it'll be up here on the screen. We're gonna dig into the first 7 verses this morning. And it's gonna just jump right out at you, I'm sure. I'm trying to hide the chant from you, and you're gonna have to think about it. It's gonna jump right out in front of you. I hope it's gonna just jump right out in front of you, and you're gonna see it, okay? And we're gonna tear this apart a little bit. Well, why it's so important? This is our foundational chant, okay? It goes on to say this in chapter 118, verses 1. It says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His steadfast love endures forever. Let Israel say, His steadfast love endures forever. Let the house of Aaron say, His steadfast love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, His steadfast love endures forever. Out of my distress I called on the Lord. The Lord answered me and set me free. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do to me? The Lord is on my side. That is my helper. I shall not look in triumph on those who hate me." Now, obviously, what is the chant? His steadfast love endures forever, right? There is so much power in that. For our hearts, we need to embrace the power that brings forward. Because of the truth that is in there. The power that's in there. And we're going to dig into that as we go forward here today. The first verse says this, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His steadfast love endures forever." Now we've got to just stop there for a second. What is going on in this verse? We can say it is the psalmist's personal cry, right? He isn't directing this at anybody. He's saying for himself. This comes from his heart. This comes from his foundation. This comes from his very being of who he is. He says, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His steadfast love endures forever. He is saying, listen guys, this is who I am. This is what I built my life upon. The truth of this statement that I've just spoken. He's good, yes. But his steadfast love endures forever. It is his heartfelt declaration. It's the truth that we see from him. He goes on to say, in there, he says, let Israel, let the house of Aaron, and let those who fear the Lord say the same thing. Okay? Now I want to dig into this a little bit because we got to understand, why would he mention these three areas? There is some reasoning behind why he brought this forth. What we have to do understand is a little bit is that this psalmist is writing most likely, not for sure, but most likely after some kind of a battle, okay? After some kind of after altercation that they won, he's writing this because he's saying that God is the one who brought us forth from this. God is the one who's given us the power. He's the one that has showed us his love once again. Now we have to understand about Psalm 118 is that it was written, and I'm by no means a history buff, okay? But it was written after the exile, okay? So Psalm 118 was written after they got kicked out of the promised land, after they got kicked out of what God had given them, okay? And they were coming back. And see, they were seeing God's unchanging love, his everlasting love, his steadfast love. They were seeing this unravel in front of them. Because at some point, were they hopeless? They were. When they were kicked out of their country and when they were pushed off into Babylonia and they were separated from what God promised them, they were thinking, God, why did you forsake us? God, why have you left us? But see, the problem is their heart really wasn't there when they left, because that's one of the reasons why they left. Because they separated themselves from that power that God had given them. They separated themselves from that power that he gave them as being his chosen people. Okay? So when he says, in verse 2, let Israel say, he's making a declaration. He's saying, listen, may the God's chosen people, the people that God set apart, the people that God showed all the plagues to, the God that showed them how to get through the desert, the one that promised them the promised land, the one that brought them to safety, eventually because of their own stupidity, right? They were in the desert for a long time, longer than they had to be. But see, because of this God, Israel should say, his steadfast love endures forever. See, listen, Israel, right at the top, I believe, because it is foundation for who he's speaking to. He says, listen guys, we got to remember who gives us love. We need to remember who gives us the power. We need to remember who it is that has promised us good things. And we must remember who it is that has taken us back to our land. See, this whole process, you got to get inside that whole picture. It isn't just, we should just have to step back. No, they went through turmoil. They went through strife. They went through battle. They went through losing everything. But he says, Israel, you guys should say, his steadfast love endures forever. They've experienced it. They've seen it. They're in the middle of it. Second one he throws it out to is the house of Aaron. Now this one really threw me off a little while. I had to do quite a bit of research trying to understand, what does it mean, the house of Aaron? Well, who was Aaron? Does anybody know who Aaron was? Who what? Moses' right-hand man. That's his brother, right? Aaron. Moses' right-hand man. He was the voice, right? He was the voice. He's the one that went to Pharaoh. Moses was there right there. But Moses says, oh God, I'm not strong enough. I don't speak well enough. Right? That's me, by the way. I really tried that with God. It doesn't work. All right? God says, that doesn't matter. I know you're any good. That's why I picked you. Because that way I can be even better through you. Right? Well, see, Moses and Aaron, they're the one who went to Pharaoh. So what does this mean, the house of Aaron? Well, because of that, what was Aaron? He was the great high priest, right? He was one that oversaw all that was going on as Israel left Egypt, right? He was the man, you could say. Because Moses seemed like he was always talking to God sometime, right? He was up here, up there, doing this, doing that. But no, seriously, Aaron was the guy that they went to. He was the high priest. He was the one that everybody looked to. So what does it mean, the house of Aaron? Well, we have to understand the whole process here. See, it isn't just Aaron. He's just not saying, and everybody that's connected to Aaron should, right? He's saying the house of Aaron. Why should they be any different than the other people? Why did he pick them out? See, because foundationally, weren't they connected? Foundationally, God blessed that family because of what Aaron did. Even though Aaron did some really dumb stuff. He pulled Israel away from God, allowing them to do some really crazy stuff with idols and whatnot. But God still showed favor. The similarity that we can see here is that Aaron followed God. He was a little misguided for a while. But God made all things new at the end, right? See, it's another great picture of His love enduring forever, right? His steadfast love enduring forever. It isn't just like the psalmist says, okay, I'm going to pick a couple people because I got to put somebody in here that should say it. He was purposeful for this. These are people that the Israelites would have known. The house of Aaron was like the Trumps of our... Oh, man, I said that, didn't I? The Trumps of our age, right? They're all plastered over everything. I'm not saying anything good about it. I'm just saying. It's a name you know, right? It's a name you know. Maybe you can think of a better example than that one. Chris is like, I'm going to struggle him for saying that. There's power. There's people in this world that when you hear their name, you're like, oh, they're big, you know. That's what these people were. That's what the house of Aaron stood for. It was a monument. It was a picture of who God wanted His people to be. Okay? And they went through this struggle. They went through this battle. They went through the battle of being separated from this God that loved them, that saved them, that rescued them from Egypt, from slavery. And this was the cornerstone. So He's writing to these people. He's writing this so that they would see this combination, this connection. Now, the last one He says here is, let those who fear the Lord say. Oh boy. That opens it up, doesn't it? That opens it up because now He's saying, listen, you don't necessarily have to be God's chosen people, His Israel people, right? He's not saying that you have to be house of Aaron. He's just saying if you fear the Lord, you best know that His steadfast love endures forever. That you should be calling that out. What does it mean to fear the Lord? We talked about this in the past, but fear the Lord is an aspect that we really need to grasp. Fear isn't like I'm scared of God. Fear is a reverentness of it. It's knowing who He is. It's knowing that He'll never harm us. It's knowing that He has our greatest purposes. Intent. What did you say? Interest. Thank you. That's what I was trying to get out of. The greatest interest involved. He has a great plan, and that is what we need to be searching for. That fear isn't as the world would use fear, as if He's going to stomp us, but it's understanding who He is. And when we understand, listen, when I understand who God is, I'm not going to even understand that, a little bit of Him, but the little part that I do know of Him, it's like I want to serve that God. I want to lay my life down before that God. I want to be connected to that God. And the fear for me, from the worldly standpoint of what fear is I don't want to be separated from Him. The fear is that I might be separated from Him. Not that He's going to hurt me, but that I might miss something of His blessing that He has for me. See, when it says here that the people who fear God, they should say this, that's crucial for us to see. Because as believers in Jesus Christ, we should fear God. Fear God, again, the way that I just explained, not the way people want to say fear is. But it's a healthy fear. It is a fear that desires us to grow closer and become more like Him and share Him and embrace His truth. Now it goes on here in verse 5. It says, out of my distress I called on the Lord. we have a huge transition here, right? He's been talking about all these other people and the trials and the problems that they were going through, and yet he says, even though that happened, guys, even though you were disobedient, you were in the desert too long, you should have been there in 40 days instead of 40 years, even though God still was there with you. And for Aaron, even though this happened, God was there for you. But see, now, he's about to tell us his personal walk here. He's about to tell us his personal picture of why he says, my anthem is his steadfast love endures forever. This is what we got to see. This is where the meat of this is for us. Because I think when we read this, hopefully you're going to connect to this psalmist a little bit, because some of the things that he's going to talk about here are things that we struggle with. At least I struggle with. Out of my distress, I call on the Lord. Let's just stop there for a second. Is that what our default mode is? If we're in distress, do we call on the Lord? Is that what we do? We're supposed to. I do sometimes. Sometimes my maleness comes out and says, I've got to figure it out myself, right? But overall, that's supposed to be our default. When distress comes, when things come that we don't understand or don't want to embrace, we need to go to him. Okay, God, what do you want from this? I'm going to lean on you for the understanding. I'm going to lean on you for the knowledge. I'm going to lean on you for what you have to change me. All right? So it says, out of my distress, I call on the Lord. So he did it right. He called on the Lord. So the first thing we got to see here is that is what God has called us to do. In order to call out this power inside of us, we need to call on him. We can't try to do it ourselves. We got to move forward in trusting in his word and trusting what he's put in our heart and walking by faith. It goes on to say, the Lord answered me and set me free. Isn't that great? Here's a great picture. He did what he's supposed to do. He called upon the Lord, and what did the Lord do? He left him out there just to flounder around like a fish out of water, right? No! He called on the Lord, and the Lord answered me, and he set me free. I don't know about you guys, but I want to be set free. I don't want to just be set free from my past, but I want to be set free from the understanding of what God calls me to do. One of the great deceiving things one of the great lies that Satan tells us is that it's all about us. It's all on our shoulders to make God's plan happen. But listen, that is not true. Being in ministry for 9 years, whatever it's been now, 10 years, I don't know. I lost track. I don't know. 9 years or so, I've been in ministry. And you know what? This is what I have to continue to come back to. Because I've seen hundreds of people come through those doors, that door right there. Some have heard the message and embraced it. Some have come through there and have mocked it. Some have come through there and they listen to it for a little bit and they decide not to do anything with it. And see, for us as believers, not just because I am here and I'm the only one that this happens to, this happens to all of us. Hopefully we all have people in our lives that we're praying for. Hopefully we all have people in our lives that we're trying to direct and guide towards Jesus Christ. But when we see that road doesn't lead anywhere, we can't get discouraged. We've got to stay connected on the fact of this. That we call on the Lord, and he will answer. He will bring forth what he has planned. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. He's just reiterating the fact that he knows who he is. Do you know that God is on your side? We need to understand that. And not just understand it, we need to allow that to penetrate our heart. So that God is on our side. It is what gives us the foundation that we won't be blown over when a circumstance comes that we weren't looking for. It's a foundation that we're built on so that when we're reaching out to this person, and all of a sudden they turn to you and say, I hate you, I don't want nothing to do with you. We need to know God is on our side. It wasn't our fight, it's his fight. We're just worshiping him by what we're doing. I will not fear, because what can man do to me? The Lord is on my side as my helper. I shall look in triumph over those who hate me. This last verse really comes to home for us. Because see, all those people that we already talked about, was there some level of hate and all that was going on there? Probably was. You could say there was. Whether they hated God, whether they hated their enemy, physical enemy, like their human enemy, whether they just hated their situation, there was hate there. See, he's saying, I shall look and triumph over those who hate me. We must stay grounded in the fact that God loves us. We must stay grounded in the fact that we cannot base our relationship, we cannot base our faith off of what people do. But what we must base it off of is what God would have us do. And we must walk by faith. We must make some of those phone calls that are really, really crazy. We've got to make some of those connections with people that just don't want to deal with us. We have to walk and know that God's steadfast love endures forever. If that is our chain, if that is what we have built this foundation on, then nothing will shake us. I just want to hit a couple quick points on the picture itself. If I can find my notes. I don't know. I got them all mixed up now, so who knows where it's at. And I feel really awkward saying it up here and you're staring at me. Let's just break it down here. You know, remember what I was breaking down here. His steadfast love. First, we got to look at the His. It's God, Yahweh. Actually, I saw that in here somewhere. Sorry. Oh, I got it. All right. His. God Almighty. He's Yahweh. First, we've got to understand it is His love, not our love, but His love. This great Almighty love, this God love that has been poured into us through the accepting of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. That love has been injected in us. Now, He loves everybody, don't get me wrong, but the powerful love, the steadfast love, the love that changes lives has been injected in us. Okay? Steadfast, it's strong, never wavering, unconditional, can't be moved, it's constant. The love part. See, this is the key, right? What is love? Many people will say love is just accepting what's going on in your world and not saying anything about it. That's not really love. That's not what Jesus did. That's not what God has done through the Bible. Love is redirecting people. Love is bringing it to them because you care about them, because you love them, because you don't want to see them separated from God for eternity. So what does His love equal? His aspects. The fact that He's a good Father. He's a perfect Father. The fact that He disciplines. The fact that He forgives. The fact that He's perfect. The fact that He's powerful. The fact that He's revengeful. Alright, that He will bring revenge. He will bring all made right at the end. See, we have to understand that this is the love that He's talking about here. See, when we understand that love, we know that God has got it all planned. He's got it all together. And His steadfast love will endure forever. Nothing's going to shake it. Nothing's going to change it. Nothing is going to move it. Endures, well, it continues to create. His love continues to create. It changes people. And it makes a difference. And forever, obviously, it will never end. It will never be taken from us. In closing, I want to just ask us a couple questions. Could you line this chant, could you line this powerful verse, section of a verse, to your life? Is this how you live? Is this what you lean on? Is this the foundation that you have built your daily breath on? See, it's easy for us to say, His steadfast love endures forever, right? We could all say that together. That's nice and sweet. Oh, that sounds great. See, there's a difference between just saying it and believing it. There's a difference in saying it and allowing that truth to change us. This past week at KFC, I was pretty hard on the kids. I had a situation happen this week. And actually, the situation happened after God told me about this. And the situation just really comes through this. It's a battle that I've had. And a battle that continues to come forward. But anyway, KFC, I went to them and I said, listen guys, you're not leaving here tonight until you understand this straight up. And I laid out what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. And I don't mean like I said, oh, you got to accept Jesus Christ, you got to make a prayer. I said, you need to have life-changing things happening in your heart, in your life. You need producing fruit. That's what God's Word tells us. If we say a prayer, it's easy to say a prayer. If we say that we love Jesus Christ, it's easy to say we love Jesus. But see, words are oftentimes hollow. And so can this. We need to take the root of what we've seen this morning and know that God's going to bring us through the lowest valleys and the highest hills. He's going to bring us through it all in order to achieve what He has planned. This is the power of somebody who truly believes in Jesus Christ. I believe that as we go forward and we look into this, and hopefully you're going to think about this, you're going to meditate on this a little bit, because it is important that we do. That we know that His steadfast love will endure forever. We need to know that because, listen, our times are getting dark. Our world is getting dark. It's going to be harder and harder to become Jesus Christ. It's going to be harder and harder to become a believer. It's going to be harder and harder to follow the Jesus that we said that we did. We're going to be separated to a degree. I believe God's going to come and He's going to sift the wheat. He's going to knock out the shaft. He's going to produce the fruit, and we're going to see who really are followers of Jesus Christ. And I believe that as this world goes the way that it will go eventually, and I'm not prophesying here, I don't know if it's going to go next month or next year, or if we have many years but we can see the handwriting on the wall. Darkness is coming to America. Darkness is coming to engulf most of this world. And what we need to know is we need to know that His steadfast love endures forever. We need to know that that is our foundation. That no matter what happens in the world, no matter what happens in our life, our foundation, our roots are planted strongly in this truth statement. That He is the only one that will suffice. He's the only one that will change. He's the only one that will bring life. We must know that we don't just say we love Him, but we must let Him change us from the inside. I like to think if the psalmist was here today, he would look at us and he would say, His steadfast love endures forever. Go out and live. Go out and shine.